In part 1, we tore down the skeptics' demand. God just show up. Now here's the part they never expect. He did. The problem was never a lack of evidence, so today I'm putting the evidence on the table. And I'm warning you now, by the end of this briefing, the decision lands on you. First piece of evidence, the eyewitnesses. And here's what nobody tells you. Jesus' own inner circle were the hardest to sell in the room. Peter, his bravest follower, denied even he knew him 3 times. Thomas flat out refused to believe the resurrection. Not unless I put my fingers in the nail wounds. Judas, one of the 12, sold him out for 30 pieces of silver. Does that sound like a gullible cult of yes men to you? That's not a contradiction, that's history. If you were inventing a religion, you'd never write your founders as doubters, cowards, and traitors. You'd write heroes. The gospel gives us skeptics. Because they're not selling a legend. They're reporting what happened, warts and all. That's embarrassing honesty. In a courtroom, we call that a mark of a credible witness. But it's an ancient book, they say. Miracle stories always grow over time. Here's a tactical response. Take Alexander the Great. Real man, real conqueror. The myths about him, the legendary nonsense, grew up centuries after he died. Once everyone who knew him was long gone, that's how legends work. They need time and distance and dead witnesses. Now compare Jesus. Acts chapter 2. Peter stands up in Jerusalem 50 days after the crucifixion, in the same city where it happened, in front of the same crowd, and says, "You killed him. God raised him, and we're all witnesses." 50 days, not 500 years, and the crowd doesn't laugh him out of town. Nobody produces a body because they couldn't. The resurrection wasn't a legend that grew in the fog of time. It was proclaimed immediately, on site, to hostile witnesses who had every reason and every ability to shut it down, and didn't. Here's the piece that closes the case. These men and women didn't just say they saw the risen Christ, they died for it. Beaten, stoned, crucified upside down, run through with swords. Now think tactically. People die for things they believe are true all the time. Every religion has martyrs, but these witnesses were in a position to know it was a lie because they had been the ones who made it up. And not one of them, under torture, under execution, ever cracked and said, "Okay, we stole the body, we made it up." Liars don't die for what they know is a lie. Con men fold when the stakes get real. These men held the line all the way to the grave. That's not the behavior of fraudsters protecting a hoax. That's the behavior of witnesses who saw something they couldn't unsee. That's not blind faith, that's evidence pointing hard in one direction. And a trained believer follows the evidence. So let's total the ledger. Credible witnesses, immediate testimony in hostile territory, men who died rather than recant. Evidence points to a real event. A man who claimed to be God was executed and walked out of his own tomb. And here's where this stops being a history lesson and gets personal. Because why did he go to that cross in the first place? The Bible's diagnosis is blunt. Every one of us rebelled against God who made us. All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Romans 3:23. And that carries a penalty we cannot pay and cannot outrun. That's the bad news, and you already feel it. The guilt you can't scrub off, the standard you can't keep even for a single day. Here's the good news. God demonstrates his own love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. That's what the cross was. Jesus stepped in and took the penalty that had your name on it. And the resurrection, the very event the evidence proves, is God's receipt. It's the proof stamp paid in full. Death didn't hold him, and it doesn't have a hold of you. So I'm going to talk straight to one person watching right now. You came here for an argument, but somewhere in this, you stopped debating and started listening. That's not an accident. That's God giving you enough light to believe. In part 1, I told you God won't force your hand. He respects your freedom too much, which means this is your move. Not someday, now. If you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Romans 10:9. That's the whole thing. It's not a performance, it's surrender. You stop demanding God prove himself on your terms, and you finally answer the evidence he already gave. You don't need perfect words, just honest ones. Jesus, I believe you died for me and rose again. I'm done running, I'm yours. If you prayed that and meant it, everything just changed. Welcome to the family. Now find a Bible preaching church, open the Word and start training. This is day 1. And to my trained believers, this is where you deploy. Somebody in your life is stuck exactly where that skeptic was in part 1. Share this video with them. Don't argue them into the ground. Hand them the evidence and let the Holy Spirit do the work. That's the assignment. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations. Matthew 28:19. Sending this to one person is you completing the Great Commission this week. And I'll see you Sunday for Ground Truth Sunday, live. This week's news run through a biblical worldview. Don't miss it. Guys, subscribe now, sharpen your sword.